What's up, guys? Today I'm going to be rebooting my basic Blender tutorial series for CTC purposes, or Computer Technology Club. So what I'm going to do here is teach you how to use this program in the most basic way possible. Now, when I was first learning Blender, I needed my friends to really help me out with this because I couldn't really find any Blender tutorial that was basic enough for me to learn some of these things that people don't talk about. They only really go into the complex stuff, and it's hard to find a video where somebody's going to go and explain the basic things step for step. So that's what I'm going to be doing. Now, the first thing I'm going to be going into is how to move the screen or change perspective. So the easiest way to do this is to press down the middle mouse button and move it left to right or up or down, and that allows you to pan around your focus point. So you can also scroll the mouse wheel to zoom in and out, and while pressing shift you can go up and down by scrolling the mouse wheel, and while pressing control you can go left and right while scrolling the mouse wheel. Now obviously you started with the cube in here when you start up the program. That's the default, but obviously you don't always use a cube for your purposes. Sometimes you're going to want to use something else. So how to delete that? There's a delete button right here, or you could press the delete button on your keyboard. That's what I'm going to do. So how to add another object? You go up here to add mesh. Don't worry about this other stuff. This is more complex stuff that I'm going to get into later. So you can add any of these objects. These are basic objects that can be manipulated into something else. So for our purposes we should actually use the cube because it's, so I'll just make another one. Okay, so now I'm going to be going in how to manipulate the object. You can fine-tune it using edit mode, but that's going to be covered later in the video. I'm going to be covering some basic tools including movement, rotation, and size. So basically there's three things that I just said pretty much. 3 ways to do these things. So to translate, you can use these arrow keys here. By default this tab here can be set to movement, but you can also set it to rotation and scale, but by default it's set to movement. You can also use these 3 buttons here that will translate, rotate, and scale your object, but they are less precise, and they fall along the lines of the shortcut, which is also less precise. The shortcuts being S for size. Translation, you just use the arrows. You basically just right click and move, and to scale you press S to make it larger or smaller and just move your mouse. This tab down here makes it a lot simpler if you don't want to remember the shortcuts. Here's the transmate manipulator, so you can use the arrows to precisely move your object, and to rotate you press this, and as you can see there's like a little solar planet thing going on here, and you can just click on one of the curves, and you can just, one of those red, blue, and green lines, and basically just rotate your object precisely. And the scale multipliers, the scale manipulator is the same way. Basically you can just click on one of the red, blue, or green lines and just scale it in the direction that you want to scale it in, and this will really help you manipulate your object. If you want to just scale it completely, press S, the shortcut, or you could use this tab. Just make it generally larger without changing any of the proportions. And if you want to use the shortcut but still do it in an X, Y, or Z direction, you could simply press scale and X to go specific in that direction, or scale Z or scale Y. SY, SX, XZ. Now I'm going to be going into some fine-tuning. So until now you haven't really shown how to change it into something different. Like if you were making a character, there's no object in here that you could just scale or rotate that would make it into a character, into a person. So how you would do this, and this is the very basic, I'm not going to expect anyone after watching this tutorial to be able to make a character, but this is how to basically manipulate an object if you want to make a table or something. So you press tab, or you could go down here and select edit mode. Don't worry about this other stuff, that'll be covered later. press edit mode, or you could switch between it using the shortcut tab. Now what we're going to do here is, you see there's multiple ways of doing this. It really goes up to your preference or what you're doing at the moment. That one edit mode might help you. So there's another tab down here. Once you go into edit mode, there's vertex select, edge select, and face select. And what these do is they allow you, you're going to want to go back into movement, by the way, if you want to manipulate this. So what you're going to want to do is just choose one of these, and you can change depending on what you're doing, and this will allow you to manipulate your object, change it into a different shape. So you can use vertices, which is basically grabbing one point of the cube. You can use lines, which will grab one line, and you can manipulate that. Or you can grab faces, which will allow you to grab an entire face. It's really up to you which one you use the most. Everybody seems to have a preference, but it's really up to you to figure it out. Now, how you manipulate this into an object is, like I said, you have to have the movement modifier selected, and then you would select vertices or select faces or whatever, and then move them the way I just taught you to move them. And then you could make any basic object, like, I don't know, if you wanted to make a table or a ramp or something, you could do that. Basic objects. And how to make like more complex objects I'm going to be going into next video, but this is the basis of what you need to use to get started in Blender. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and if you have any questions, feel free to leave it in the comments. I don't really have that many people commenting on my videos, so I'll be sure to get back to you. So I'm out. See you later.